So I've had a lot of mice, and because this channel's for random stuff, I just thought I'd make a video about all of them. So the first mouse that I ever had was one of those Amazon mice that says like gaming, RGB, all that sort of stuff, and that was just because I needed a mouse and it was really cheap. It was basically rubbish in every way, had like pretty bad sensor, I didn't have the best mouse skates, it was just like not that good for a gaming mouse. Fortunately I don't have that anymore, I think I gave it to a friend. But next up I got this, the Logitech G402. Now this has nice skates, like actual decent skates, decent buttons, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 side buttons. Wow. This was pretty good for playing GTA because I could bind these to like different macros. Like this was like CO or something. I don't know. There's loads of different stuff. But this one was really good for GTA. It's also very comfortable. It like fits in your hand really well. The only problem is it's kind of heavy, which wasn't really an issue when I started playing, but would become an issue later on, and you'll find out. Next up, we have the best-selling mouse of all time, the Logitech G502. As you can see, it's got a bit of use, but I got this because there's nothing wrong with this. It's just that this one was on offer, and I thought, you know what? Why not? I might as well splash out and get the mouse that everyone says is really good. Protokill uses it, or Protokill used it. Same with U versus Pro, and just a lot of and Ninja used it as well back in the day. So I thought, why not? Why not try it out? So it's got this thing called an infinite scroll wheel, which everyone always says, oh, I really wish all mice had this. I hated it. I thought I'd like it, but it makes the normal scroll just feel horrible, and the infinite scroll, it's just really annoying, honestly. I didn't like it at all. I can understand why people might like it, but I hated it. It was also really, really heavy, and it rattles because of the scroll. Listen. It really triggered me. The other thing is the cable was like awful and stiff. Look how it just kinks like that. If I just bend it, like, it's horrible. Whereas the G402 didn't have a great cable, but it didn't really kink like that. It was just a flexible rubber one. Now the thing is, I'd given my G402 to my friend at this point because I didn't need it. I thought I was just going to switch to the other mouse. Then I had buyer's remorse and wish I never gave it away. So I needed another mouse because I didn't like the G502 at all. So what do I get? I get the G403. So yeah, this has just 2 side buttons, which meant I had to relearn all the games with 3 less side buttons than I had before. Now that wasn't that big of an issue, but it did take me quite a while. Now this mouse was lighter than the G402 and the G502. It was also pretty comfy, it's a pretty decent size. It was a big mouse. I think there's a scroll wheel that was really, really loose. I didn't like that at all. And maybe something to do with the scroll wheel, but the scroll wheel broke. So after a while I had to replace this one. I thought I didn't really like this one that much because of the scroll wheel. I preferred this one, but I thought I'd try something else. Now there's another GTA player at the time called Cal, or A-Monsters. You might recognise the name from the I Can Wrecked Protokill video. But he had a really nice and smooth sniping style. Now that's because of his mouse control and not because of the mouse that he used, but I thought I'd try the mouse that he used because it must be good. This was my first Zowie mouse. It was the EC1-A, the exact same one that he had, and it was big, fit in my hand quite well, but for some reason I just couldn't really aim that well with it. It was kind of heavy, the scroll wheel was rubbish, the buttons had a lot of travel before they clicked, so that made games like Fortnite quite hard with it. But for games where just aiming, for some reason I just couldn't aim very well with it. Maybe because I was holding it wrong, but yeah, never to this day I've never been able to aim well with the EC1. So I didn't like the EC1, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go back to the G402. So I bought another G402. So the story ends there, right? Well, no, because this is where Ultralight mice came onto the scene, and as you can see, I've got an Ultralight mouse here. This was the next mouse. So I thought I'd try it out because light mice was all the craze. Why not? And this was pretty good. It's really, really light, and I used it for quite a while, but the only problem is the build quality was awful. You can hear it's all creaky, and it also gets really, really dirty. Look at that, it's disgusting. However, this introduced me to liking light mice, and also like a paracord type cable where it's really flexible and it doesn't really affect your aim. You can't really tell that it's really a wired mouse. The only problem is though, I was really inconsistent with this mouse. Sometimes I'll be really, really good, but then sometimes I'll be awful. For some reason, I'm not sure why, maybe because I couldn't get a good grip on it, but yeah, it's quite inconsistent with this mouse. So I thought, you know what, I'll go back to the G402. I'll go back to the mouse that I first bought because I thought it was pretty comfortable. A few pros used it. A few Fortnite pros used it, and I thought might as well try it out again and see if I can be better with it. And I wasn't, because I was so used to lighter mice now. And also I didn't want to take advantage of these two buttons, because if I want to go to another mouse, I'm going to have to relearn every single game. So I basically didn't use any of the advantages of this mouse and had to stick with all the disadvantages. If I chose to fully connect to this and make use of all the buttons, probably would have been fine, but because it was heavy, I thought I'm going to try something else. So then I wanted to try the Razer Viper. Now this is that mouse here. You may think it looks similar to this. We'll get onto that later. Now this mouse was great. I'd switch between these two. These would be the only two mice that I'd use for ages, probably like a year, maybe 2 years. Mainly favouring this mouse though. And you may be wondering, why did I stop using this? And that was because I think I got a chrome on my mouse pad or something, but I completely sorted the mouse feet and it just didn't aim the same. Now I could have just bought some new skates for it, but a new mouse had came out called the Razer Viper Mini. So this combined what I thought I liked about this mouse and what I thought I liked about this mouse. I thought I liked the centre in this mouse and the lightweight and smallness of this mouse. In actual fact, I liked the shape of this mouse, the big one, and not really that much about this mouse. You see it's a little bit smaller. This one's the Mini. So then I thought, you know what, they make a wireless Viper, so I'll get that. This is the Razer Viper Ultimate, and I used this for ages, but the only problem is this didn't have the best build quality. It's a little bit creaky, the buttons were a little bit wobbly, especially the side buttons, they were a little bit mushy. And the scroll wheel was a little bit small. For some reason, for games like Fortnite where I use the scroll wheel a lot, it's just a little bit too small for my liking. And it wasn't as light, it was a little bit heavier than the normal Razer Viper. So then I thought, oh, I'll just get a lighter mouse. And then I got the Logitech G Pro X. Oh my god, is that broken? What the fuck? Oh shit, that was weird. But yeah, then I got the Logitech G Pro X Super Light, which is doesn't have the buttons on this side. Ones on that side, and this was really light, but for some reason I committed to this mouse for like 2 or 3 months, and my aim it never felt consistent. I think it might have been too light or the sensor or something, but it just felt like it moved too quick. It felt like my sensitivity was like extra high on this mouse. Even when I turned my sensitivity down, it just didn't feel right. Which is then when I decided to go back to the normal wired Razer Viper, except they don't make that anymore. So this is the Viper 8 kilohertz, which I never take advantage of. I never use the 8 kilohertz. I have it down 1 kHz, and you can't even tell the difference. But yeah, this is great. The build quality, they seem to have fixed those issues. Perfect shape. The only thing is the cable. Now I've got a thing called a mouse bungee right here, which means that it keeps the cable out of the way and it takes off some of the any slack you might get. But yeah, I think the next upgrade is the Razer Viper V2 Pro, the ultralight version of this, and the ultralight and wireless version of this. And then that's basically my in-game. You'll notice the last 4 mice that I've had basically will be the same except for the Logitech one. But yeah, that's it.